So it's fall right now, and one of the big things at a lot of coffee joints is pumpkin spice coffee. And you can do this for a lot of reasons, but I really can't stand the pumpkin flavored syrup crap that they put in coffee. I'm really adamant about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick video for you guys on how to make your own sugar-free, no crap added pumpkin spice coffee that's way better than anything you get in the store. By the way, Death Wish Coffee, these guys are fantastic. They're out of upstate New York, right around where I'm from, where I grew up. So they're a great company. This is not a plug for Death Wish. It's just they kind of get a free product placement here. But you're going to need a couple things to start. One, you're going to need a coffee. Now, when you're selecting your coffee, you can choose something on the light side or the dark side. I find that darker, smoother coffees tend to do really well at accepting the flavors that we're going to be putting in here. We're going to be using some spices. You're also going to need some salt, some kosher sea salt, and spices in descending order from how much we're going to be putting in. Ground cinnamon, just any kind will do. A little bit of nutmeg. Allspice, this gives it that really pumpkin-y flavor, and cloves. You can also use, if you so choose, pumpkin pie mix, which is really just cloves, allspice, and a little bit of cinnamon. I prefer just to modify the ratios as I like them. Step 1, grind your coffee. If you already have pre-ground coffee, that's fine. I'm not going to shame you, but you really care about this, you should be doing whole beans. Now, all of these ratios are going to be done for an 8-cup percolator. Choose your coffee maker accordingly, but this will make approximately 8 coffee cup size, which I don't know what they talk about because I use a big mug like this and I only get like 3 or 4 mugs out of it, like 3.5. So it's about half of that thing. Once it's sufficiently ground, should be normal coarseness for what you'd put in a percolator, add it to your bowl. And yes, by the way, normally this is about 5 2-tablespoon measures, but I've just been doing this with this coffee maker for so long, I know that's exactly how much it needs. Once you've got this, you're going to add a little bit of salt. About a pinch or so will be about that much, and spread it around. You can add less salt if you want, or no salt if you're on a low sodium diet, but this will actually help you decrease the bitterness in your coffee. It's actually something I learned from watching Alton Brown. Cinnamon. There you go. Nutmeg. There you go. Allspice. Now this really meters your pumpkin flavor. I like to have it kind of a good balance with the cinnamon, but as far as the flavor, but if you want to add up more, you can. It'll be fine. Now note on a percolator, these spices are very finely ground. Some of them are going to go through the strainer on the bottom of your percolator bowl. You can even see some grounds are coming out. I don't mind dirty coffee, but if that's your thing, that you have to have it perfectly filtered, do this in a Chemex. But a percolator or a French press will absolutely. Sometimes a little cloves are a little crusty. There, and just a little bit of cloves, probably half as much cloves as anything else in here, because the cloves are really, really potent. If you do too much of that, too much of the cloves, it will just overpower everything else, and you'll get a feel for this. So that's what it's going to look like. You're just going to lay it on top. You don't have to mix it in, and it'll be fine. I've already filled my percolator with some water. Let's fire this up. While we're waiting for the coffee to brew, just want to show you guys what else I'm doing this morning. I have some bacon. This is cooked up on a rack inside the oven, 375, for about 15 minutes. This is relatively thin cut bacon, so it cooks up like this. If it's thicker, it'll take about 20 minutes. You don't have to flip it, you don't have to do anything. And that soapy look is just fat that came out of it. Oh, so good. Now, if you're someone who's doing keto like I am, you may want to add butter or coconut oil to your coffee. I actually really like the flavor of that, and I think it works really well with the pumpkin as well. I'm just going to add some coconut oil that I found at BJ's. This stuff, I've not found a lot of consistency in how they label if coconut oil has lots of flavor or very little flavor. Some of them with a small amount of flavor, you can almost not taste it at all. This one tastes very coconutty, and I kind of like that. But what I like to do when I mix it, I'm going to have 1 cup of coffee that doesn't have anything in it, just because I like the flavors of the plain coffee. But also, I'm going to add it. So this is a 1 quart mason jar. I've got a little reusable top that I found with a little pour thing. That's really nice for going in the fridge or just keeping it hot and pouring it out of that. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of coconut oil while the coffee's brewing, just to get everything ready. So you can see that there's not a ton in there, but this is just all fat. So you can get your idea for that. It's also relatively warm in the house because I'm cooking bacon, so oh, there we go, and the coffee's done. So we can add that. So let's unplug the coffee because this is an incredibly short cord. Oh yeah. So it's probably hard for you to see it in there, but it is looking good. And we're going to add it to here. Now this is going to get the glass really hot, so you got to be careful. I'm going to show you, if you're a fan of coconut oil, or if you haven't tried it, you can try it a little bit. If you don't mix it at all, if you don't stir it or mix it, it's going to do this kind of thing on top, and that's really hot actually, but it's going to do that kind of glittery look on top because you haven't mixed it. All the fat is sitting up on top right now. It doesn't taste great. It's like a butter layer on top or a fat layer on top of your coffee, and it separates the flavors out. Now if you throw this on, and before I actually shake it up, I'm going to want an oven mitt, because again, the glass gets really, really hot, and you don't want to drop this. There we go. By the way, when it expands, when you shake it, it increases pressure, so it'll pop like that. There you go. I didn't think it would actually go, but here it gets a nice frothy layer on top, and you can see it kind of swirling around inside. What I also like to do to help emulsify the oil. If you add a little bit of heavy cream, that'll help kind of hold everything together. And oh man, this is like dessert. Look at that. Frothy coffee beverage. No sugar in here at all. There might actually be a little bit of lactose from the heavy cream. Less than 1 gram of carbohydrate per 1 tablespoon. Okay. So, yeah, this is delicious. Now it's going to pop again when you pop that off, and there you go. So I'm going to let that cool off a little bit, and I'll have it somewhat colder than piping hot. But this guy I'm going to enjoy like this. Oh man, can't ask for anything more. A beautiful homemade cup of pumpkin spice coffee without any kind of sugar, syrup, junk in it. Happy fall, everyone.